Good morning from Curtis Granderson Stadium here on the campus of the University of Illinois at Chicago. It's the 2023 Major League Baseball Nike RBI Central Regional Tournament Championship. It's the 4-0 Cincinnati Reds Nike RBI against the 2-1-1 Chicago White Sox Nike RBI. Hi everyone, Kevin Malater joined by Austin Kroom for this one as these two teams set to play for a trip to Dodgertown at the end of next month. Cincinnati is at 4-0, Austin. They have rolled through this tournament. Last year, they just missed the final. Now this year, they're the favorites to win it.
And not even just in baseball. You're going to look at all around. Softball, their championship game is going to go on 11:30. Our very own Ryan Sikora and Henry Dominy are going to be on that call as well. They're just dominant through and through, and to see them get that 4-0 start and have the home field advantage in this 7-inning championship matchup, it's going to be a good one.
Meanwhile, the White Sox just finished a defeat of their Northside rivals in the Chicago Cubs Nike RBI in a Sunday morning semifinal. A game originally scheduled for Saturday night got pushed to this morning, and the Sox, just fresh off that victory, finished literally 32 minutes ago.
And what we weren't sure of is since the game was last night, supposed to be the Saturday, it was supposed to go 7. And because it was switched to this morning, it was a Sunday morning 5-inning matchup. Even the teams were confused.
So now, the Sox, who are the defending champions, defending World Series champions, go to work first. Ezra Essex led off the first game this morning. He leads this one off with a fastball in the inside corner from Alex Smith. Smith, who got the ball in game 1 of this tournament, he's back on it again. Roosevelt Barnes' mind, a perfect rotation through for his team as the second pitch of the ball game is grounded to third. Manuel Sanchez has got it, and a quick first out for the Reds defensively.
And Smith, you know what you're going to get from him. You're going to get a lot of power. You're going to get a lot of glove side run on that heater. You see just from his arm angle, it's in that 3-4 of a clock situation. But on that grounder, I don't know if you saw it, Kevin, he just fell to the floor. He was completely on his stomach on the rubber from the throw over from Sanchez.
That's a watch ahead moment right there.
Oh, it'll get you to see the light flash before your eyes.
This is Kamari Thomas, the center fielder, who you can say now has made the defensive play of the tournament, knowing the circumstances behind that throw he made in center field this morning. On a base hit up the middle, the Cubs base runner tried to score. This one's lined and caught by Lomax at second base. Nice diving play there, and there's 2 gone in the inning.
And you talk about good defensive plays. Kamari Thomas, he threw an absolute seed from center to make sure that his side would retain the lead over the Northsiders and the Cubbies. But defense overall, we've seen the past couple of days, has been incredible, and Lomax is already showing it off in the top half.
And that came as the final out of the 4th inning in that 5-inning game. The Cubs would go down in order in the 5th inning, and that's how their tournament comes to a close. Here's the 0-1, the infielder for the White Sox. It's Ricky Collazo, who was the catcher in game 1. Line down the right field line, could be trouble, and is. It's a base hit. Collazo with a wide turnaround first, but a good throw in from Jarman in right field makes it a very long single for the Sox 3-hole hitter.
There's something to say about that read from Dalen Jarman. Every time we've seen something hit in that corner, even last game, it's either a triple or sometimes you get a little league homer. So the fact that Dalen Jarman was able to range to his left, keep it in front of him, and have a good throw to the cutoff man, you're keeping a real good speedster in Collazo at first and a guy out of scoring position.
So 2 out, man on for the third baseman today for this White Sox side. It is Flowers. Savion Flowers, who bats from the left side, throws from the right. As a pickoff attempt there is not in time. Flowers 0 for 2, but he got a crucial RBI, and an RBI that scored the first run of that semifinal game this morning.
Yeah, it was that sacrifice in the infield grounder, which you necessarily don't think, oh, you gave up an out for a run. But now looking back, it's always easier to say looking back at something. But with a 5-inning game, that was probably the biggest effort of the game at that point.
That one misses outside. Smith falls behind here to Flowers. Reds wearing the black Cincy jerseys, a nod to the Major League franchise's city uniforms. The Sox, meanwhile, going with the light gray with white pants.
It's an interesting look. I really do like those Cincy City Connect unis. Hat is, you take with what you get in a situation like this, where you're limited on the type of jerseys and how many pants and tops that you can select with you. But I actually think the red hat, it might kind of tie it all together.
Looks good. It's a good combination. Meanwhile, it's a 3-2 count with 2 gone in the inning. Runner breaks on the 3-2 as Flowers skies this one. A left field battle is underneath it. You'll see him come to bat second in the bottom half of the first inning. A scoreless first for Alex Smith on the bump here on the Windy City Sports Network. Bottom of the first inning is upon us, and now we get to see the most balanced offense across the tournament this weekend in the Cincinnati Reds Nike RBI squad, and it starts off with Roybert Gonzalez to lead things off.
And it's kind of wild saying that, Kevin, as we've seen so many teams really start to dial in and just keep passing the baton. So the fact that Cincinnati has stayed shoulders above everybody else really says something about their talent.
Gonzalez, who normally swings early in the count, swings at the first pitch he sees and flies out to center. That's where Thomas plays. We talked about the great defense in the first inning. He's there again, backing up his pitcher, which has been the third baseman all weekend long for this White Sox team. It's Jonah Weathers who gets the start in the most important game of their summer so far. Avery Battle, who made the play to end the top of the first inning, cuts and misses there. And coming into this tournament for this Red side, the expectations, they were positive, obviously. They always thought they had a chance because just Roosevelt Barnes is a very positive person. You can talk to him. He's just happy. He's always got a smile on his face, which you love to see.
Flooded with joy is what I remember from last year and just this year around. You go up to him and he's just all smiles. He loves the game of baseball and he loves growing the community in Cincinnati.
That one misses high. But even they were unsure. Now, granted, they have some return, just a handful of returns from last year's team. But still, there's a lot of quality talent in this team. But you didn't know how it was going to mesh together in this intense environment of a tournament and how intense this tournament can be at points.
Well, and of course you never know.
As Battle goes down swinging, 2 gone in the first.
And that's a situation where the standards from last year were definitely on their shoulders and on their minds, thinking, hey, you know, what if we don't get to that point? We are a new team, but what happened last year, some of the guys who are returning, that energy flows into the new guys and the new blood, but the 4-0 start shows that they are really feeling confident and not allowing that to affect them.
Noah Collier is the shortstop. He's been in that position pretty much all weekend long, and he takes that one outside. That one sails to the backstop. It is a 2-ball count. Look out on the front row.
Oh, yeah. I want to know what the TrackMan number said for that one.
And Collier is quickly ahead in this AB.
Do you have access to your TrackMan numbers for your summer league job to help you with some of the pitches?
We have, so our clubhouse guy, a great man by the name of Cooper, as Collier walks, he'll just text us the information. So we won't have access to it, but we are privy to that information. He'll text it to us.
Okay, so
The modernist.
Yes, I was finally given access a few days before I left for here, but we do not have an extra laptop or computer or really the space in the press box to be able to see it. So we're just going off feel, and sometimes you ask the players, what do you think? And they'll go, you know, let's just say low 90s or high 80s for my sense and my sake.
That's every guy. Every guy's going to want at least the low 90s on that, though, regardless if they're a pitcher or a hitter. As it's nothing in oneness, Sanchez.
Well, you're going to have a bunch of guys like some of the first baseman power hitters. They'll go, couldn't see 93 today.
That's a towering pop-up on the right side of the infield. Cheney calls off Collazo and makes the grab to end the inning. So a good start for Julian Weathers on the mound. He froze a scoreless first inning, and that's where we are going into the second here on the Windy City Sports Network. So each side traded a 0 in the first inning. And the pitcher, Julian Weathers, leads things off for the White Sox. Jonah Weathers is the pitcher.
And in game one, Kevin, he was starting at 30. Led off in the first inning. He had a double, but was stranded on second. But 2 runs were scored in that inning, and those would be the 2 deciding runs. They happened right in the beginning of it all.
2-0 on the way. That one's crushed, but way foul. My goodness. Talk about pulling one.
I was going to say, it's a bit of an understatement to say he was a hair early on that, but if it was fair, it's gone.
And he lines this one off the glove of Sanchez and into left field for a base hit.
Well, he definitely barreled that one.
Barreled 2.
Yeah.
just was way early on the first one.
Hey, it happens.
Would have been good in cricket, I think.
That would have been the 6. Had to have been. Kid I broadcast with Graham Simpson. His father is from Australia. Massive cricket guy. So in between broadcasts, we will get texts from him going, here are the bats left, and here's the score. So it'll be like 4 to 350, and I have no idea what it's talking about.
Yeah. Here's Angel Castro at the plate. He's the catcher this morning in this title game. His battery mate is on first base, and he has to dive in twice. That's Jonah Weathers on first.
Be interested to see if they send Weathers. Might not be a bad idea. You got to tack one on early in the championship game.
They scored 2 in the first inning as he's on the move there, and it's an easy stolen base for the pitcher, Jonah Weathers. They'll use the courtesy runner here, and they'll bring out Aaron Scott again. He courtesy ran earlier this morning. But this is a team that scored 2 runs in the first inning and were shut out the rest of the way against that Cubs Nike RBI team. Thankfully, the pitching held its own and just limited the damage to 1 run. Had the Cubs out-hit this White Sox Nike RBI team, had more chances than them, but when it mattered most, the pitching staff for this CWS team locked in.
And that's just how it's been this year. Last year, you could say, oh, there's some teams that are going to go out there and they're going to put up 15 or 16. This year, maybe you'll get 8, but the pitching is going to lock in that second half. And even in difficult situations, like if you're a middle relief guy, which is the hardest spot to be in as a pitcher, they've been able to hone in their best stuff and work.
0-2 to the catcher, Castro. And Smith steps off. And you mentioned there are certain games where you expect a team to put up 13, 14 runs. Well, the team who's currently up to bat was one of those teams where 9, 10 runs was a bad day at the office for them in this event last year. Meanwhile, the 0-2 comes in. It's 5 holes. Grammel to third on the play goes Scott. And here we go. Pass ball charged to Grammel. And a runner 90 feet away for White Sox Nike RBI.
This could really hurt.
Strike 3 called. Fastball from Smith, and there's 1 gone in the inning.
That was a great bounce-back pitch from Alex Smith. That was the best pitch of the AB to Castro, and it's the one he looked at. It was right down the pipe.
Here's Joey Barbosa, the shortstop. That's a strike. It's 0-1. Barbosa this morning against the Cubs Nike RBI team. 0 for 2, a pair of grounds to third base.
Just unlucky.
Yeah.
Because he was hitting them pretty well. He was just getting vacuum gloved, and there's not much you can really do. It was Weathers who was over there getting him and chucking him.
0-2. The pitch. Smith misses down and away. There's the off speed. He's tall, he's lanky, and he kind of comes around the baseball.
And you don't see that too often with younger guys because they're still trying to figure out their range of motion, their pitch delivery from the stretch, from the wind. Takes a while.
Hard hit, fair ball inside the back, down the left field line. Scoring easily is Scott. On his way for 2 is Barbosa, and the White Sox grab an early 1-0 lead. It's an RBI double for Joey Barbosa.
And it's really good to see, Kevin, not many extra base hits, but the ones you see are very well placed and very crucial. Whether it's a guy going first to home, or in that situation, you had a runner in scoring position and just tacking one down the line. You might want to start running the corner outfielders closer to those lines. We've seen them a lot. They'll go down more, or there'll be bloops, and it's in that no man's land area right behind the bags. What do you do there?
Especially with the amount of foul ground in this ballpark, too. As that one pops out of the middle of Grammel, but no advancement from Barbosa.
And talking about that as well, you'll see a lot of pop-ups just right and left of the first and third base bags. And the right fielder or left fielder cannot run that far in to get them.
Going about halfway down the line was Barbosa as the 1-0 almost hits Vasquez. And so the left fielder for the Sox is in the advantage spot. Moises Vasquez was the DH in the morning game. He has to go play the field this morning/afternoon as he tips that one.
The versatility of all these guys. I don't know if you would have told me, hey, you're going to start the game in right, and then the next game you could be in the infield, or you could be pitching, or you could be back in the outfield. I would be lost.
I mean, look at last night, though. I mean, no, not Cincinnati or Chicago, as this ball is skied into center field. Gonzalez, long range of motion. The center fielder makes the grab. That's the second out.
And there are a lot of situations, you see this more a lot in softball, Kevin, that you're going to have games where you're going to have no idea who's going to be in because of how many people you can really go in and out for. I mean, I'm showing you my book right now. You guys can't see this. Look how many names are put up here. There's about 20 names all over different spots, and some of them played third, then first, then pitched, then DH'd, and then was a left fielder.
It's a nightmare to keep up if you're a scorekeeper at home.
It was.
Fouled off by Torrey Cheney. And it's 0-1. When we talked about the versatility of these players, and this is going back to last night, look at the Detroit team. Williams started the game at catching and then moved in to close out the game and get the win as Smith gets a strike there. 0-2.
Or you'll have a guy like Kemp who can play some of the outfield. Then he'll come in and pitch and threw a shutty and then was a pinch runner the next game. So used everywhere.
0-2 home. Breaking ball floated in the short left center and down for a base hit. Barbosa around third. He scores. It's 2-0 White Sox. Nike RBI.
And tacking them on early like they did in the last one. Still keeping that same pace and momentum. And for a team that you're going with against Cincinnati, you really do have to strike early because once they start to feel in a groove, it could be wraps.
This White Sox Nike RBI side is giving me major 2022 Ole Miss college baseball vibes as a team that just snuck in and have taken advantage of it over the last 24 hours.
And that's all you really need in baseball is once you get on and into that groove. We saw with the 2019 Nationals as well. They won the World Series just because they went into that wild card spot and were feeling the momentum and moving the lines forward.
As for Essex is 0 for 1 today. He's the top of the order. So the lineup card already flips around here in the second inning. Time called by Essex after a long hold by Smith. 2-0 the score, 2 gone in the inning. And Cheney remains on first after that clutch RBI single.
Seen a lot of those as well, where you're just finding the empty gaps. Sometimes shooting them up the middle, and the middle infielders aren't able to dive for them.
Cheney on the move as the pitch misses down and away, and Grandma leads the throw. Runner in scoring position yet again for the Southsiders. And on the verge of scoring again as the 1-0 comes in. It's a hard hit ground ball, but right at Lomax at second. He makes the play, and that'll end the inning. But it's not before Chicago puts up 2 in the inning. They lead it as we go to the bottom of the second here on the Windy City Sports Network. Connor Sitter leads off the bottom of the second inning. The DH. Connor has been crucial to this team's success all tournament long, whether it's been on the mound or at the plate. He'll face Jonah Weathers for the first time, and both step out.
And I believe he was on the roster as well last year and put up those numbers.
He was. Brother was on that team as well.
They were battery mates on 2 separate occasions, I remember, and that was really fun to watch.
It's always cool to see those sibling connections. As that one, they're going to give him first base on a hit by pitch.
I like seeing that from Jonah Weathers. He acknowledges, hey, that's on me. That's my bad. And Connor Sitter, right back to him, says it's all right.
So a little chin music there. Thankfully, no harm was done. Just a runner on first now in a 2-run ball game as Evan Grammel comes on up. He's the catcher. Grounds this ball foul off of first.
And Connor Sitter is not going to be the biggest steal threat. But what you do have to watch, if you're anybody behind Evan Grammel, is how long of a coiled stretch windup that Jonah Weathers have. He's going from the wind even with someone on.
Strike down the outside corner.
And that's what's going to happen when you try to hide the ball. You're going to be forced to go slower so you're able to feel the grip properly before throwing it, and that's just extra time and extra seconds for the runner to move.
No balls, 2 strikes. Upstairs. 1-2.
That was pretty close.
It was. No, it was very close. Grammel waits, and he fouls it off. Had to. That would have been strike 3 had he taken it.
A team like this, you're not going to be taken with a 2-strike account. Like, you have to be going.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Weathers in search of out number 1. And he throws about a 58-footer. And we even it out. Grammel, it's been an interesting tournament for him. He's had some highs, he's had some lows, but he's just trying to be more consistent for his pitching staff, which I think is the immediate concern, considering the quality arms on this team.
And definitely, but in the end, you have to look. He's played a part on a team that's gone 4-0, and they've made it to the championship game.
And he smacks this one on the ground. A short. Barbosa charges. His only play is to get Grammel at first. Sitter to second on the first out.
But even that AB from Grammel, he worked the count, and it's a good fielder's choice. You get the runner in scoring position. Now you're down 2.
He's had a lot of quality at bats. Even what the stat sheet says, he's been a guy who will fight for you.
But that's all you can ask for from a guy who, by the book, and I put that in air quotes, is struggling.
One ball, no strikes as Isaiah Hill comes on and up. First baseman always bats from that left side, and he's a big fan of the color yellow.
Definitely is. It's been too much yellow for my liking, at least. I don't mind it, but it's just I personally wouldn't wear that much.
Shoe color, batting gloves, Evo shield, the wristbands, they're all bright yellow.
The Jordan arm sleeve.
2-1. Strike 2.
I love the difference between the first and second strike call and the strike 3 call.
Outside.
How slow one is and how fast one is. You can see the crew chief, he'll take his long, sweet old time to call one, but as soon as it's strike 3 looking, that guy is moving.
3-2. Hill sends this one on the ground at second base. Cheney's there, 2 retired. Sitter is on third following the putout. So Dalen Jarman comes on up. 2 gone and a run here that would cut the deficit in half. That stands on third. And he hits him. Upstairs fastball, and they're on the corners now for Cincinnati.
And you can see that Jonah Weathers is just not having his greatest stuff right now. His control's not looking the best. Smart for Castro to go out there and have a conference on the mound with everybody else. You could see he's just rattled. Even with that lead, he seems like he's pitching from behind.
They all give each other some fist bumps out there trying to pick their pitcher up. And we've seen this is just based off our vantage point. This White Sox team, they're a very close bunch.
They definitely are. And Kevin, I'm going to ask you this. I know you were a pitcher in a certain spot like this. What do you try telling yourself, or what is the mound visit like?
The mound visit's very simple. The mound visit is literally the catcher just coming up to you saying, "Hey man, you're all good. Just take your time, take a deep breath, come back and focus up." That's pretty much what it is. As a pitcher, you're internally panicking.
Yeah.
You're just kind of nodding and saying, "Hey, thanks man, appreciate it."
It all works out in the end.
You're freaking out though. Lomax takes ball one. 2-0 as Weathers is missing arm side.
You can see that internal panic now. 3 straight ones in.
Popped him up. Long run for Essex in right field, but he tracks it down. We're for 2. 2-0 White Sox, Nike RBI. You're watching this presentation of the 2023 Major League Baseball Nike RBI Central Regional Tournament Baseball Championship game here on the Windy City Sports Network. Top 3. And it's still 2-0 after the White Sox Nike RBI team struck first in the top of the second inning. 2-3-4 as Kamari Thomas takes a ball. Kamari on the day. 0 for 1. He lined out to second on a nice play made by Nate Lomax. And this time he sends a deep fly ball in the right center field. Long run for Jarman and Gonzalez, but the center fielder Gonzalez got it.
Wow. Down to a knee and eventually onto his stomach. Roybert Gonzalez had to go a country mile to get that.
Something to holler about early on for those Red fans who have made the 5-hour trip from Cincinnati.
Done that a couple of times.
Good support system here as they give their praise and thanks to Roybert Gonzalez for a web gem out in center field.
Got to give him his flowers.
Deepest part of the park just based off where guys are playing as this is sent on the ground at second base. Lomax has to get it back to Hill, and he's safe at first base. Hill had to come back to the bag, and that's where things get interesting. And so now there's an infield single for Collazo.
And I think on that, Kevin, as much as Isaiah Hill, they're trying to argue the call of him stepping on, I think they, in their second opinion, went maybe Collazo was out of line for where he was running. But they're not going to get either one.
Flowers also 0 for 1. Squares and pulls it back. And it's a ball. Hit number 5 on the day for Chicago. Second for Collazo personally. One out base runner here. And Smith spikes that pickoff attempt, but he's lucky that Hill got a piece of it.
I've noticed that Savion Flowers, it's basically like he's wearing shorts out there. His socks are about as high-strung as high-strung gets.
And I love how he continues to pull him up, too.
He just did it. It's like Granderson-esque. He used
really
to do that.
At Granderson Stadium, too.
Only
Runner goes on the 1-0. The throw from Grammel is not in time. As Collazo gets a steal of second.
It's picture perfect.
Gorgeous Sunday morning that will turn shortly into a Sunday afternoon. So many high-level games on display today. 4 games across both the Windy City Sports Network and Marquee Sports Network Plus. That's where this morning's Sox-Cubs game was. And coming up in roughly about 25 minutes, we'll have the 18U softball championship game for you on Marquee Sports Network Plus as well. And then shortly after that, after the conclusion of this game, stay with us here on the Windy City Sports Network, our main channel, as the 15U baseball championship game will occur.
It's been a fun weekend. Just kind of sad to see it come and go so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, for everyone involved, on, the entire staff at Cubs Charities, to us, to the players, coaches,
now Marquee,
family members, Marquee Sports Network now too. It's months and months of preparation for a 4-day sprint.
We were here in November setting it up to really show you guys how long we've been prepping for it.
3-1 is popped up. Sanchez flails his arm and screams, "I got it." And he does, barely.
Oh, man. It seemed like he lost it for a half second.
Snow cone.
Yeah. But back to it, Kevin. We've been now the second year doing this. It's so much prep time and work in advance, and you know it's going to be a crazy couple of days. I mean, over the last few days, how much sleep do you think we've gotten? Maybe 6 hours? Maybe?
I think I've personally totaled 6 hours over the last 3 nights combined.
I was going to say, I'm probably at about 7.5.
If you include Wednesday night and a Thursday, then maybe 8.
The multi-hour, for you car ride, for myself a flight where I was up about 20 hours that day, and then 15 to 16-hour work days. It's
fun, though.
Honestly, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
It's been such a fun weekend as this is popped up off the bat of the pitcher Weathers. He's 1 for 1, a single, a stolen base, and a run scored. But yeah, it's crazy to think about just how much preparation goes into it. And then you're kind of like, man, it's over? Like,
yeah,
we've been working on this for months, and it's over after really 3 whole days. The half day on Thursday and a half day on Sunday. Thursday being a Thursday afternoon and evening, this being a morning into afternoon, and then 2 full days on Friday, Saturday. As this ball sky down the left field line, it doesn't have enough, and it does not stay fair.
But I think the most satisfying thing is at the end of Championship Sunday today, when everybody's walking up to you, families are saying, "Thank you so much, you sounded great," or watching at home with us on YouTube at the moment, the fact that we know we're doing justice to this and families are enjoying it is the reason we do our jobs.
It's a great event for a unbelievable reason. Stepping off is Smith as the count remains 1-2 of 2 gone. Smith paying attention to Collazo on second base. 1-2 home. Upstairs.
And I don't know when we're going to see each other next.
No.
That's also another thing.
Stay tuned.
Never know.
Never know. You never know. As Smith has a conference with his entire infield. Deuces are wild in the top of the third inning.
Been quite a good game so far.
It's a fun one. Quality pitching. Right now, Sox out hitting the Reds by a score of 5-0. They're winning the game by a run score, so an actual score of 2-0. They look to crack through here, and the pitcher wants to give himself some more insurance. 2-2 home, ground ball, but it's foul off a third. And Sanchez got robbed of making a backhand play by the Sox, their base coach.
Still plenty of time in this one for both teams to really wake up and jolt into the squads that we've seen them do.
2-2 on the way. He just missed with a fastball. Looks good.
That looked great. Wow, indeed.
So a payoff pitch will be coming here, and you can bet the house that Collazo is going to be on the move. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And he lost him.
You would have lost the house. He was not moving.
Which is shocking.
That is shocking. But I also understand why. If it does happen to be in that situation, the walk, and you catch him jogging his way to third, it's an easy one.
So here's Castro, strikeout looking in the second inning. Castro is the catcher. And Alex Smith faces some adversity yet again. There's a curveball that just missed.
And you can only wonder not only about that curveball, but you now have Scott back on first. So 2 speedsters are on. There are 2 away. But that curveball, if Smith is not able to locate it, we've seen it hang a couple of times. And now with 2 guys on with wheels, could really break things open.
Barbosa, who is currently on deck, took advantage of that hanging breaking ball that you mentioned a moment ago. We'll see, though. Castro has to get on for him to come up. As that one misses inside, and Smith has fallen behind 2-0. And the command so far has not been there like it was on day 2, day 1 for the Cincinnati team on Friday.
And sometimes it's just been one of those weekends where you get in, you play so many games. They're up as much as we are, Kevin. They're going through the same spin cycle that we're going through. Your mind's in a daze. You only know what's in front of you. So it could be getting to him.
That's a 4-pitch walk in there full. So things can quickly get out of hand for Cincinnati and get more comfortable for Chicago. It all depends on how you view this game and who you're supporting. Courtesy runner out there in place of Castro, so they're full.
And that was talking about multiple positions. That's Trent Roseborough, the guy who pitched in the first game this morning.
He's out there as the courtesy runner. Aaron Scott is the courtesy runner on second base as Barbosa takes a strike.
Gracious call.
Makeup?
We'll call it that.
Time called. Barbosa had the go-ahead RBI double at the time.
Did you just see Smith? Glove to his face, took 2 steps off, immediately stepped right back on the rubber.
0-1.
He's locked in.
Fastball misses high. He knows it's a big spot. He's an out away from leaving him loaded and keeping the game with a 2-run margin. Ground ball, a diving stop made by Sanchez, and he will tag third to end the inning. A web gem saves a run for Cincinnati.
That's phenomenal. Manuel Sanchez, do it yourself, why don't you?
And we're going to break. Bottom 3 up next. Reds have some momentum back. Roybert Gonzalez in the top of the order. Back up second time through against Jonah Weathers, and he squares and pulls back a bunt. The rare time in which Gonzalez will take a pitch.
It's also weird to see Cincinnati going for that leadoff bunt. They're just trying to do anything to get a hit.
Make it a 2-ball count now. They're only chasing 2. Could have been a lot worse, but Sanchez came through with a big diving stop to end that frame.
He definitely didn't. That could be remembered as one of the runs that saves the championship game.
Gonzalez gets underneath it and pops this one up. Cheney and Essex come together. It's the right fielder who calls off and makes the grab.
That's a communication you want to see, especially in a game like this. We saw the White Sox Nike RBI in the first game this morning against the Cubs. There were a couple communication errors. But to see them lock in here, this is what you need. This is the most important game of the entire weekend.
Avery Battle swings first pitch and pops this one foul out of play. Battle struck out swinging in the first inning. It was a relatively quick strikeout on 4 pitches that Weathers got him to go down on. The 0-1. Inside, and the count evens out. Battle is so good, and he's just always is finding different ways to get on base. It seems that every time he's in the box, he's likely going to be on first base.
And the fact that you can find that type of versatility from a guy really shows how valuable he is to a team. It's like when you go to a keymaster. He's got a million of them there. You don't know which one works. He knows every single one and to which door it opens. He could do it all.
No one's fouled off. I mean, look at team's 4th pool play game. I mean, reached base 3 times.
Yeah.
Did it in the 3rd game of pool play as well. 2-2. And Battle continues the on-base streak over the leaping Barbosa at short.
And he just inside out of that one. It was in on the fists. Just gets a decent part of the bat. Was too low below the barrel, but not high enough that it would be barreled up. Just a weak one, but who's going to stop him?
He's been on fire this weekend. Collier, the shortstop, digs in for the 2nd time. He reached on a walk in the 1st. He swings first pitch and lines this one to right center field. Essex coming on. He makes the catch on the run. Yeah, that's the 2nd out.
Ezra Essex has been really good in the outfield today. His range is great. We've seen him slide a couple of times and make some good ones.
White Sox defense, now if you look at both games, just the 1 error combined across the 2 games they've played now. And overall have been stellar. As the first pitch comes in and it hits Manuel Sanchez. 1st and 2nd here for Cincinnati. But how much confidence that gives you as a pitcher when you know you got 8 guys behind there who are going all out, diving left and right, risking turf burn for you.
It's got to feel good. You know that's when that brotherhood and that connection of baseball has finally hit its peak. But for a guy like Weathers at this point, he's got to be worried about the guys on. Interesting call on that one. But he's hit 3 batters at this point, so he's still really got to lock in. He's letting a lot of stuff run arm side.
There's another example of that. And the count evens out. I like how you snuck in there the little, that's an interesting call there during that analysis. The 0-1. Sitter takes. It is a ball. Okay. Got to make sure.
At this point, it could be a full 5 to 10 seconds before we know what the pitch is.
Well, it wasn't even that. That was a similar spot in which Sitter got called for the first pitch on and was a strike. Making sure that he wasn't spotting him up there.
My point still stands.
2-1. Sitter just underneath the fastball and a little bit late.
He tried going back outside.
Connor Sitter with 2 men on. Battle with good speed off the bases. Sitter gets underneath and skies his one down the right field line. Essex underneath it. He's got it. And the inning comes to a close. So Cincinnati puts the tying run on first base, but they aren't able to bring him around, much less any runs. Warford 3, White Sox, Nike RBI, shutting out the Reds here on the Windy City Sports Network. We return. It's the top of the fourth inning. 8-9 in the top of the order here for Chicago, who leads by 2.
Moving through along.
Oh, you had to say it. You had to say it.
The time is not lying. I'm not lying here. I'm looking at the numbers.
That's like saying Macbeth in a theater, man.
You're telling me you want me to leave faster? You want me to go home faster, Kevin? Mr. Malater?
Maybe that was intentional. As the 2-0 is granted back to the mound, Smith makes the play.
Tell me how you really feel then. Want me to leave early?
No, it's just every time someone says we're moving along quickly, guess what happens? It's either a lightning delay or a rain delay happens.
Yeah, well, guess what? I said that yesterday at softball in the next game. In a breeze.
There we go.
Doesn't always stick.
Ground ball on the first pitch to short. Collier up with it. A good throw, and there's 2 down.
Had some burners behind it. Put it lightly.
It's got some. It had some.
Behind it.
Yeah, some MPH, whatever you want to call it.
Some horsepower.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Some velocity.
Ezra Essex represents the top of the order for Chicago when he takes a strike.
Not surprising, as the first guys went out on the first pitch they saw.
Smith has found himself in this fourth inning. The 0-1. That one's lined in the left center. A base hit. Ezra Essex is aboard for the first time. He's going to try to leg it out and stretch it for 2 when he slides in there with a 2-out double. And he rows the boat.
He's carrying the boats today. And the logs.
So Kamari Thomas, as it's, from the Reds' perspective, time to bring the catcher out and talk things over with Smith on the mound. So that's what Gramel does.
Not a bad move. I really like to see that you're only 1 out away from getting the bats back, and it's been quick. So don't try to rush it, but don't think too hard about it either.
That one misses down and in, ball 1. Thomas is 0 for 2 today. Kamari has lined out and flown out. He's hit 2 balls really hard, just happened to be right at defenders.
And that's just unlucky. The fact that he's barreling them up after we saw him being mainly used as a guy to put a bunt down last game. His role keeps switching, and he's barreling. He's eventually going to find a hole.
Upstairs, and it's a 2-ball count. Thomas, Collazo, and Flowers are the next 3 in order. However, the one thing stopping that from happening is that there's 2 outs in the frame. Fouling it off was Thomas, and there's the first strike in this AB.
I like seeing that stretch. He's realizing that he's being shaded a bit more to right center and the right side of the outfield. So trying to poke it over the head of Sanchez at third. There's quite a bit of room out there.
That's a ground ball, and that is just foul. I don't even know by how much. That is probably as close as you can get on that play.
Wow. Isaiah Hill was taking that the entire way. He was trusting his gut.
Like maybe a foot? Like,
maybe.
Like I like that was close. I mean, I think probably the right call, but like that was super close for being a fair ball. As fouling this one off as Thomas, and the counter holds at 2-2.
And that's where you just got to see and really hope that if you're a corner infielder, you see those and go, you know what? I'm going to take the chance here and hope that it stays foul or goes foul. And it's just the coin flip. You never know what you're going to get.
2-2 home. Just missed, and it's a full count. Time is called on the 3-2 pitch. Smith is ready. He steps back on the mound. And he steps off again. Twice.
Do we see a third?
Third time's the charm, is what they say, right?
That's what they say. Whoever they are.
Sources.
Oh, he does it.
There's the announcer jinx on full display in the title game.
We going forward?
He's set. He comes home. And it's a foul ball.
Never been happier to be wrong.
I don't think I've ever seen that. 3 step-offs before 1 pitch.
I don't think I've seen that either. And in the regular situation, those would count as disengagements, would they not?
The collegiate level now, because they've started inserting the major league rules, as well as obviously, because I said they're inserting the major league rules, the major leagues, as 3-2 comes in. That one's away. The runner was breaking on the pitch. And they're on the corners.
And you got to have him on, and this is a good spot to find yourself in if you're the White Sox trying to put up some more. But, Kevin, you were just talking about disengagement, so I think we should just close that up quick.
Yeah, I mean, he would have been out of disengagement at that point. That would have been a pitch violation.
Exactly. So that's where it really comes into play is what's going on.
Runner goes for second as a first pitch strike is called on Colasso, and Thomas is safe at second base. Interesting decision, by the way. Essex was stealing, and there wasn't even an attempt at a throw at third.
Not a bad idea, though.
You like it.
If he airmails it into center, that's another run on the board.
Misses high, and the count goes to 1-1.
You can't risk it too much. The fact that you're already down by 2, you just eat it. I'm actually a bigger fan of that move and just letting him take the bag.
Taking the 1-1. That one's grounded to short. Collier up with it. And the inning comes to a close. So Smith works around the dangerous leadoff men and consistent on-base hitters for the White Sox Nike RBI team and gets out of it unscathed. We're going to the bottom of the 4th. 2-0 is the score. Welcome back. It's the bottom of the fourth inning. Grammel, Hill, and Jarman come on up. And a fastball that misses high, ball one. Kevin Melater, Austin Kroom for the Windy City Sports Network. Championship Sunday, our second title game together.
Unable to do a three-man, though. Ryan Sikora is now calling the senior softball championship. Right now, it's in the top of the first. Just started.
No score, Battle of Ohio. So we hope you are flipping back and forth between us and Marquee Sports Network Plus for that one as the 3-0 comes in. And that's a 4-pitch leadoff walk for Grammel.
And that's the AB he needed.
Mm-hmm.
You said he had been struggling a little bit, even though he's working the counts. Didn't even have to take the bat off of his shoulders. He's got to be feeling good. And they put a speedster on for him. He's got a courtesy runner.
And the highlight was that 2 RBI single he had in the 6th inning against Minnesota yesterday. But it's been just a lot of long at-bats, a lot of quality ABs. Just nothing really going for him as they all come together behind Weathers. And let's see if Jonah will continue. It looks like he will, so a good sign of confidence there. And mound meeting and Weathers gets to stay. Lana Williams is the courtesy runner. They'll run for Grammel. In a big leadoff spot here as Isaiah Hill, a man who has crushed a couple of foul balls in this tournament, comes up. He squares the bunt. Now Williams dances off of first base and will stroll back in to first.
Weathers is pitching a little bit faster now that he's in the stretch. He's not getting as much of a delivery. He's kind of just stepping forward, almost like a position player throwing, but he still does have that wickedness coming off of his wrist.
It's a 2-ball count. Runner goes as Hill swings and sends the ball into left center field. This could be trouble, and it is. It's a base hit. Williams around third. He will score as Vasquez and Thomas collide out in the left center field. The Reds Nike RBI team is on the board with an RBI double from Isaiah Hill, and now the attention turns out to the outfield.
Really good piece of hitting from Isaiah Hill. You said, Kevin, he's got pop, and he showed a lot of it there. That courtesy runner now putting Williams on for Grammel looks good, but none of that matters right now. Got to make sure the outfielders are feeling okay.
A collision out there as Cincinnati gets on the board. It's 2-1. Reds Nike RBI still threatening, though. They got Hill on second base. Yes. The collision occurred, which allowed that ball to drop. We'll step aside for a moment here on the Windy City Sports Network. We're back. Everyone's okay, so we move on here in this game. No one out. Hill on second base. And Dalen Jarman, the right fielder, comes up. And he squares to bunt. Now, Hill gets caught off the bag, and the ball hits him on the back pick by Castro. Had that ball not hit Hill, he might be out at second base.
That was on the money. That was a good throw from Castro, and Barbosa really tried to pick it. Just kind of got into the jersey area of Hill.
Strike there, and it's 0-2.
And look how close Savion Flowers is playing. Now that there's 2 strikes, he will go back to the lip between the grass and the dirt. It's turf, but you know what I mean. He was playing really far in, expecting a bunt.
0-2. Jarman pieces that one and fouls it off.
And in this situation, Kevin, how wild would it potentially be to maybe go for that 2-strike bunt attempt? There are nobody out.
No one out. But I think if you're Cincinnati, you'd much rather be in a case where if you're going to have that out, you want to make sure at least it's a ball put in play. Or then it's just kind of a waste. If you're giving up an out, you'd much rather have it be in a place where you know for sure the runner can advance. Because one foul ball in that bunt attempt, and it's see you later. It's not a bad idea, though, in this situation.
Just risky.
0-2. He doesn't bunt. Instead, he swings and misses at an upstairs fastball. A big first out for Jonah Weathers here in inning number 4.
He went to the high cheese, and he lit the eyes up of Jarman, just not able to catch up to it. That would have been hard to bunt anyway, because if you get under it, it pops right up, and if you get over it, there's a shot it just goes straight into the dirt.
And dies. Nate Lomax, the 9-hole hitter, who's 0 for 1 today. Sword there, and it's strike 1.
That was filthy. A 65% swing.
The 0-1. Lomax down the right field line, sinking, base hit. Hill around third. The throw-in from Essex is not in time as Cincinnati ties the game.
And the bottom 3 of this lineup, Kevin, they've stepped up big and stepped up when it was needed. Now it's the bottom of the 4th. There's still 3 innings left to play, but you know how these games can get when it's in the back half. It could just either be complete dead water or it could be the most fascinating offensive showings ever.
So here's Roybert Gonzalez at the top of the order. Yes. Some conversation occurs between the Sox dugout and the home plate umpire. Gonzalez wanted to send that ball to Saturn.
Oh, are you kidding? He wanted to send that back to Cincinnati.
0-1, runner goes. This pitch is grounded weakly to short. Barbosa's lone play is at first. He makes it there. Lomax is safe at second on the play.
And Lomax was moving on that. He was trying to get the hit and run at that. Just an unlucky spot for the ball to be placed at shortstop.
Avery Battle comes up. 2 on the frame. Go ahead on second. Battle takes a fastball. It's a good one. It's strike 1.
Lomax is moving a lot. He's standing behind the second base bag.
He's dancing. He's thinking about running. He's not running.
He's running again, then he's not running. He's getting jiggy with it. Didn't think a Will Smith reference was going to make it in here, did you?
Only you, Austin Groom.
Caught you with your mouth open.
Only you, my friend.
I got him, ladies and gentlemen.
In a championship game in the most tense spot, too.
You gotta lighten the mood up. I get it.
Oh, I don't blame you one bit. No swing. This pitch is popped up. It's foul. So battle in a battle with 2 gone here in the inning. He's 1 for 2 on the day after he continued his on-base streak in the 3rd inning. He grounds this one to first base. Collazo races to the bag and gets him there. But that'll end the inning, but it's not before Reds Nike RBI ties the game. The team from Cincy has the momentum as we hit inning number 5 on the Windy City Sports Network. First pitch swinging, Hill bobbles the ball at first, but he beats Flowers to the bag, and that's how inning number 5 begins here on the Windy City Sports Network. Championship Sunday, first of 3 title games on display. Second one currently in action right now. We're in the top of the second, no score between the Reds and Guardians over on Marquee Sports Network Plus. That's the softball championship game. And then shortly after this one's over, 15U baseball title game on this very channel, the Windy City Sports Network. Here's the 1-0. Grounded foul. And the count evens out. Weathers is the pitcher. He is 1 for 1 for a walk. He scored the first run of this ball game.
I like that move. It's a late last-second bunt. No one's expecting it. I mean, look where Manuel Sanchez is playing third right now. He was in the same spot when that bunt was being shown. As much as he wasn't able to make contact, if he had gotten it down, Smith would have had to run to get it all alone.
2-2 on the way. It's grounded but foul off of third. Sanchez just getting his steps in over there.
I got to do that too.
We all do.
We can do that, walk around the city later. Why not? Just enjoy the day.
Got him. Two gone. And that sees Angel Castro come up, who's 0 for 1 with a walk. Fastball a little bit high. Kick in the 1-0. Upstairs, it's a 2-ball count. For those looking for the Girls Softball Championship game, that is over on Marquee Sports Network Plus. Ryan Sikora, Henry Domini across the street at Flames Field for that one. Currently scoreless in the second inning.
Getting a lot of coverage out here. Like to see it. Grow the game.
Growing the game of baseball and softball, especially in the part of the country that it's got so many markets that are sports crazy.
Untapped potential, especially in the Midwest.
I mean, look at what happened to the programs in Chicago and the Ohio teams as well. Both Cincinnati and Cleveland have exponentially grown the game of baseball to now where baseball is quickly flying up the radars amongst youth sports participation in these respective cities and states.
Yeah, and I mean, look at Omaha, Nebraska, the College World Series. It draws people from all over just to watch this beautiful game.
Strike there, and it's 3-1.
It's only a matter of time. I've heard people think, why not put an MLB team in Omaha? And I know you might be thinking, oh, you know, a lot of people may not be going to it just because of other team homerness and the team that you like to watch. But if it's an untapped market and there's a chance to grow the game, why not try it?
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Kick and the pitch. Ball 4. Castro earns that one.
Just a good grinding AB after the first 2 guys get out real fast.
And it'll quickly be a courtesy runner for this White Sox side. They call on Trent Roseborough yet again. And one misses high, ball 1. He fouled it off, and it's 1-1. Barbosa is 1 for 2. He doubled and scored in the second inning and reached outfielder's choice in the third. Trying to keep the inning alive with 2 gone in the frame. He's got Roseborough, the courtesy runner, on first as he takes that one away. Top of the 5th inning in a 2-2 game. Winner are the Central Regional Tournament champions, and we'll have a trip to the RBI World Series coming for them in August.
A lot is at stake here.
Count is even at 2-2 with 2 gone. Here's the pitch. Popped foul, and we'll do it once more.
This is a really good AB from Joey Barbosa. I think this is going to have a lot of implications on the rest of the game offensively for the White Sox. Just the way that they've been swinging it, you cannot go down 1-2-3 because that just kills the momentum you had the last 2 innings. That could be a bad thing as Cincinnati's starting to find their groove.
That one misses, and the count is full, and time is called as the entire infield comes together.
Getting up there in the pitch count, though, for Alex Smith. The mid-90s at this point.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. On the inning.
Likely would be the last inning of work for Smith.
Meanwhile, over in the girls' softball game currently going on, Cleveland leads Cincinnati 1-0. That's on Marquee Plus. That's Marquee Sports Network Plus.
And the game yesterday between them, I was on the call for. It was a 1-0 game for about 3 innings, and then Cincinnati, they broke it open and won it 7-1. Trying to flip the script is Cleveland, but they know it's just going to be a dogfight between the 2 Ohio cities.
3-2 away. Runner goes, and it is ball 4. He did not swing. Austin now was close.
I think that's the right call.
Both on the pitch and as well on the check swing. And you think both was the right call there?
The pitch was in, yes. I also believe that if he really did get the swing to break the plate. It was maybe by a fraction. And when it's going on the feel, on the fly selection, there's no replay, there's no other camera angles. This is what we're working with here. When it's that close, you've always heard the old saying, tie goes to the runner. Even though there was no tie, it was given to him.
So Alex Smith's night is done. They will go to the bullpen, and we will go to a break here on the Windy City Sports Network. So the DH is now into the game. The pitch, Connor Sitter is into the game. We saw him pitch earlier in this tournament. We saw him pitch last year in crucial situations. He now gets the ball with 2 on and in a tie ball game in the top of the 5th. Kevin Malater, Austin Kroom. Austin, this is a situation in which a pitcher, the heart rate starts going and beating a little bit faster. The palms get more sweaty.
Thought you were going to go with knees weak, arms heavy after that, but I'll let you go with it. But yes, we
There's
did see
vomit on his sweater already.
Mom's spaghetti. But we saw Connor Sitter last year, and you know what you're going to get from him. He induces a lot of flame-throwing balls out of his arm. So he is going to throw them. And it did. It actually hit off the umpire. It was right down the middle.
Three balls and no strike is the count. Yes, the home plate umpire took a shot there. Let's hope he's okay. He's currently bent over. I think he got the wind knocked out of him.
Hit him like square in the pec.
No amount of chest protection can help you with that one.
And it really came at a bad time. His Sitter was the DH, so he's just warming up and throwing as hard as he can. And that was a heater that just missed the glove of Grammel, and he even apologized to him and said, hey, that's my bad.
The umpire gives Grammel a pat on his head and just says, you're all good, buddy. You're all good.
Okay, let's see the count, because it looked like that could have been a strike.
We'll see what the count is. He just put the ball in play.
Okay, we'll find out together then.
Sitter fires, and that is ball 4.
Okay, so it was a walk regardless.
Torrey Cheney comes on up. Base is now juiced. White Sox, Nike RBI, a chance to grab a lead. Cheney takes a fastball off the plate, ball one. Cheney today, the RBI single in the second inning, which at the time made it 2-0, and a ground out to shortstop.
Could come up big here again.
Cut on and miss. It's 1-1.
That was a really good slider. He's going to have to battle in this one and really probably sit heater, but if a slider's looking that good from sitter, not much you can really do but hope.
1-1 home. That's a good curveball right there. My goodness.
That had the most 12-6 break I've seen in a long time. It looked like out of the palm it was going to be nowhere near, and then, boop, rainbow's in.
1 ball, 2 strike, 2 away. Pitch from Sitter is fouled off. Cheney got a piece of it. So, base is still full. 1-2 to Sitter. Biggest pitch of the game coming up right here. Curveball misses high. He tried going to it again, Austin, and he just couldn't get that snap he wanted.
No, the Snapdragon was not snapping on that one, but would not be surprised if he goes back to the heater. Good old Snappy.
Ow.
Finger gun at it. Exactly. You trying to do the grip right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, Kevin's trying to figure out how to throw this and kind of doing the wrist flick.
2-2. He chases an upstairs fastball. Lomax double clutches, froze, inning over. Sitter out of the pen and gets a big third out to leave the bases loaded. We're going to the bottom of the 5th. Still tied at 2 on the Windy City Sports Network. Bottom 5, 3-4-5 due up for Cincinnati in a tie ball game. Kevin Later, Austin Kroom, on behalf of the Windy City Sports Network, we welcome you to Curtis Granderson Stadium on the campus of the University of Illinois at Chicago. It's a gorgeous Sunday, now afternoon, as Collier takes strike one.
You know, I've really fallen more and more in love with this stadium since I've been here.
Year 2, man.
Year 2. Starting to feel more like home.
That was cool walking back in on day 1, just going, yep, we're back.
We are so back.
Meanwhile, Chicago, by the way, has turned to a new pitcher. They turn yet again to the left-handed pitching for the second straight inning out of the bullpen. And for the second straight game is Peter Pipikos on the bump. Pipikos on the mound. Came in relief and slammed the door shut in the semifinal game this morning. Falls behind 3-1. And this ball's sent in the air to left field. Vasquez underneath it. He's got it. And there's one away.
And Pipikos was only put in for a little bit of time in the game this morning, Kevin. Unsure if he knew that it was a 5-inning game, was coming in as that, quote, long relief or long closing appearance. But if not, then you get to utilize him for the second game in a row because he didn't go over that pitch limit. And that's needed. He's a really, really deceptive lefty.
First pitch swinging. Sanchez lines this one, but it's foul. So for Jonah Weathers, his final line looks like this. 4 innings, 2 runs, they were both earned. 3 hits, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, and he hit 3 men. Inside corner, 0-2. Time is called. It was Sanchez who took it. Oh, 2. Pipikos misses away with a fastball.
He's going to have to try to lock back in. It's been a couple hours since he last pitched. And you know it could sometimes take a couple of batters before you even feel comfortable throwing your A pitch.
Down and away. He's missed back-to-back, and they weren't even close.
And his A pitch is that 4-seam fastball. Not even in the zone. It basically bounces way up.
So it's a 2-2 count. Pipikos trying to get Sanchez to go out for the second time. Fastball misses high, and all of a sudden it's full.
And now what do you go in this situation, Kevin? If none of your pitchers are working, what do you think?
I guess fastball here would be my guess. 3-2. He does go fastball, and he misses high, ball 4. So after falling behind 0-2, Manuel Sanchez works it back and works a walk.
And that's really where falling behind and not having any of your pitches really be hitting at that point, where it can really start to get in your head. You start thinking, you know, if the pitch I use is the get me over is 3 baseballs out of the strike zone, then you start to really overthink. And with a runner on, there is 1 out, luckily, but you had a dangerous power hitter and sitter.
Connor Sitter, the now pitcher for the Reds. Nike RBI team takes ball 1 in. They check and he's safe.
I like the idea to check on him. You can see he's not taking the biggest lead. He is being held on by Savion Flowers, or was Savion Flowers, the new first baseman now.
Outside, strike 1.
Collazo is now at first, and Jonah Weathers is at third.
One-on-one with some clapping going on as Sitter puts this to the opposite field for a base knock. Holding at second is Sanchez. They got 2 on and only 1 out.
And this is where it starts getting to a point, Kevin, where you are unsure what is going to happen. If you don't know what you're throwing, some pitchers can go, you know what, I'm throwing this pitch, and normally gets me a lot of grounders, or this gets me a lot of pop-outs, or this gets me a lot of swings and misses. But the fact that now the heater is being hit around, unable to locate the off-speed pieces, you don't know what to expect And the guy throwing it, when you have that mindset, it could be bad news.
Bramwell comes up. 2 on, only 1 out. Big spot for the catcher here. And he takes that one below the zone, ball 1. Two zero.
Good mound visit at this point. Definitely needed. Pipikios. He's got to have a guy who's worked with him for so long to go, you know what you're doing. You did it last game.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just think a bit too much, and that's one of the factors in baseball that most people don't think about because it's nothing that is able to be penciled in or written on paper. It's the mental game that you play with yourself while you're out there pitching.
Yeah, I think, though, he's coming off an outing in which he had 2 shutout innings against a Cubs Nike RBI team that was a very balanced offense. They didn't shine and weren't, nothing stood out to you on paper about them, but nothing too shabby about that, though.
No, but sometimes there's a point of that you can't get too cocky after going too shuttied. But then you also cannot start going, I'm really bad, I'm not doing well. It's because everyone's going to have ups and downs. It's like a heartbeat. If you stayed in the middle, you'd be dead. You're going to have the up and down.
2-1. So it's all about the mental game at this point.
Exactly. And that's for everything in life, not just baseball. You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. You're going to have good broadcasts and bad broadcasts. It's how you bounce back and just keep moving forward.
Locked there. It's 3-1. Isaiah Hill is on deck. He already had the RBI double back in the 4th inning. Three-one. There's the breaking ball. My goodness.
It's quite a low call. But even when you get those gracious ones, you got to take advantage of it. Pipikios got to throw something over. Force a guy to beat you.
3-2 with 1 gone. Downstairs, and they're loaded.
It's a lefty-lefty matchup, but the way Hill's been looking today, I don't know. Could be his to win.
He doubled his last time up and later came across to score. He was the game's tying run. Here's Sanchez on third, Sitter on second, Grammel on first. Pipikios' first offering. Hill takes the fastball, and that is a ball.
Wow. Okay. That sets the tone for the AB at least. Now you know if you're Hill, you're able to take it.
1-0. Outside, 2-0. We think. That's back to the mound. Pipikios kicks it around. Play at the plate. Did he get around? And he did! Manuel Sanchez. 3-2 Cincinnati.
He swam right around that. And Pipikios wasn't able to make it, but kicked it up there to the catcher, Castro, who got it in and almost applied the tag. You don't see that, Kevin.
Oh, you do not. This tournament, when talking with so many people who have been involved, says there's always so much drama and excitement, and nothing ever comes easy for the team that wins, even if they go undefeated, as this pitch is popped up out of play off the bat of Dalen Jarman.
And at the beginning of the day, you were seeing it. Sox Nike RBI put up 2 of their own. And it thought, Cincinnati, they didn't have a hit for most of the game until the 3rd inning.
The 0-1. Outside corner. Evens it out. They ruled that an error on Pipiquillos. So no RBI for Hill. But he'll remember that for a while, especially if this result holds. The 1-1. Cut on and missed Jarman late on the fastball.
Just locking in. It's only one run. You are more than capable of getting that, and the White Sox need to know that. They've done it, and they've put up double digits just the past couple of days.
He left it. Jarman today 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch. Two home. This is in the air to left field. Vasquez coming on. He makes the catch. Tagging from third and holding up is the courtesy runner and Craig Smith Jr. He faked out the entire ballpark, including up here in the press box. We all thought he was going to try it.
Well, he started doing it, but Moises Vasquez, he was right underneath it, only about 7 steps away from the infield by the time he finally had it in his glove and then in his throwing hand. So the smart idea from Smith Jr. to hold up.
Nate Lomax, 1 for 2, cuts and misses there. RBI single to tie the game, his last trip to the plate.
Look for that here again.
That ball is out, and it's 1-1. Two on now.
And the pressure is building from the team from Chicago.
They are the road team playing in their home city, but aren't the host team.
It's an interesting one.
A lot of Red fans in attendance here in Chicago. 2-1. Outside corner. That's a good fastball. Deuce is wild in the bottom of the 5th. Cincinnati already holds a 1-run lead. Lomax up the middle, but caught it short by Barbosa. We are through 5. Cincinnati Reds, Nike RBI grab their first lead of the championship game. The 6th is up next on WCSN. Top of the order for Chicago in the top of the 6th inning. Sitter tries to drop the curveball and he missed high.
And the 15U White Sox are here cheering their 18U counterparts on.
Now one misses. It's 2-0. White Sox have a right-hander up and throwing in the bullpen right now. That's Savion Flowers up and tossing. We'll see what happens in the bottom half of the inning in terms of who will be the guy in the pen. 2-1 misses away. That's a leadoff walk.
Good AB from Ezra Essex. We talked, they didn't go down 1-2-3 last time, but the way the inning had started, it looked like they might have, so they're trying to surmount not the biggest of comebacks, but get that energy and motivation back. It seems to have been lost here.
Kamari Thomas comes on up. And Sitter checks on him. Again, Sitter checks and he's safe. Paying very close attention. Now the Reds Nike RBI team are in control. But also don't want to get your opinion on this. As the runner goes, the pitch is outside and safe at second base is Essex with a stolen base, his second of the contest. It's almost felt for a while, despite them trailing, that Cincinnati has had the momentum most of the way, despite trailing up until the last half inning.
And I would agree with you, but only from the 3rd inning onward. Because
Wow.
at that point, they had 3 left on and no hits. It's another stolen bag there from Essex. And it seemed like their pitching was doing well. Smith was doing well, but they couldn't get anything to go on the offense. And then that next inning, they get their first hit, leave 2 on. Okay, that's not bad. The inning after that, 2 score, 2 hits. Okay, then another one after that. And the pitching is dialed in since then. So since that 3rd, they really have held control. And it seemed that at the beginning, White Sox Nike RBI from the 2nd forward, they've lost it all. They've had 8 combined left on base from the 3rd to the 5th.
2 balls and no strikes. This ball's popped up in the foul ground goes Sanchez. He's underneath it, he makes the catch. So there's the first out.
Sanchez was even toying with him to go. He said, hey, go for it. He pointed towards home and flashed him a smile. See, I really like seeing stuff like that, like in-game banter. Go, hey, challenge me, I dare you.
First pitch misses high. Colazo, who is now at first base. Sends this one on the ground. Hill bobbles it. The game is tied on an RBI ground out by Ricky Colazo.
You know, Kevin, talking about that momentum, there could be a shift. You got it on any way possible. You don't necessarily need a hit. As much as it would make you feel better as you would continue to pass the batons at that point, you'll sacrifice an out for a run to tie it.
Savion Flowers comes up. He's 0 for 3. And the curveball drops in there for a strike. One ball, 1 strike, 2 away. Sitter fires out. It's 2-1.
You see the zone, it's being pushed a bit more inward. Seems like it's shrunk since the game has really gotten into this second half. Because it's tied, you got to know, hey, you're the crew chief. You're going to force the guys on the mound. They're going to have to pinpoint every single time.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Sitter out of the windup, kicks, fires. It's a curveball that misses away. Got him swinging. Sitter goes out and away, and he gets Flowers to chase. We're going to the bottom of the 6th. Chicago has tied the game on the Windy City Sports Network. Bottom 6, and the top of the order comes up for Cincinnati after taking the lead in the bottom of the 5th inning. They lost it in the top, but the game still remains tied. Captain Leader Austin Krim. Austin, what's these approaches have to be for this front 3 hitters, the top of the order for the Cincinnati team in order to grab that lead back?
Royber Gonzalez, as much as you've always said, he's been that first pitch swinging all the time. He's 0 for 3 today, Kevin. I think he needs to take a couple. This is the first time he has seen Pepe Quios. So why not see what you're going to do? It's a lefty-righty matchup. He's got the advantage. So, yeah, watch one. Even if it is a strike and you're behind, you get to see what he's throwing.
0-1. Gonzalez kicks, fires, and sends a ground ball. That's a foul ball just to the left of the third base bag.
Ooh.
Austin, that might have been closer than the one we had earlier.
I think that was closer because it was bouncing on that line. Even the third base ump just kind of sat back, took 2 steps and stared at it. He didn't signal a call, though, so I don't know. They've had that difficulty a couple of times.
0-2 home. Just missed. Castro tried to frame it. Just missed again.
We've seen that called just last inning. I want to know what's changed.
I've just been informed, by the way, of a quick defensive change. Castro and Collazo swap positions, so now Collazo's behind the dish. As the count goes to 3-2, Castro now at first.
Wow. Doing it all. You really are going to find all the utility men out there.
3-2. That ball's grounded, but it's foul. A good battle here. 3-2. Pepequios to Gonzalez. And he will give one more pitch. This is going to land on the concourse.
And this is a telling sign. The fact that he's battling here, he's going and giving everything he's got against the lefty. For a guy who likes to really just jump on the first one and try to catch a guy sleeping, seeing him completely go on the other side of the pillow is a good look.
This ball is chopped, and this is going to be a foul ball as well. So still 3-2. Three-two home. Popped up right side, out of play. Gonzalez wins the battle.
That is a great at-bat. That's what you need to start it off. He saw so many pitches, and Pepequios really started to feel his groove at the end of last inning. So now getting him out of his mojo, that's what you're trying to do if you're Cincinnati. And Gonzalez did it right there.
Avery Battle digs in. He is 1 for 3 on the ball game. Weathers playing in as Battle shows bunt, but he pulls it back.
He might as well be the second pitcher at this point. He's basically on the rubber by the time the full-on bunt shown.
Battle grounded out his last time up. It was a 9-pitch at-bat in which he was put away on, the 1-0. He tries to do the drag bunt, and he misses. It's 1-1.
Gavin, it's bottom 6. This is only a 7-inning game. The energy is going to start to build up. I would not be surprised to see it get a bit louder in here soon.
All right, Nike RBI Junior, a.k.a. the 15 players, making some noise as Battle pulls back the bunt and swings and fouls it off. It's 1-2.
The hand speed to, 1, be able to do that is impressive enough, and 2, be able to make contact with it. He was quick drawing that.
The 1-2 home. Battle stays alive. We'll do the 1-2 again. And Battle really battling here. This is a second 9-pitch at-bat in a row for him. Battle stays alive. Make it 10 now.
Cincinnati. My goodness. How many pitches are you going to make Pepequios throw? And it's only a 1-2 count. He still has 2 to work with.
Runner breaks on the 1-2, which is fouled off. Each and every pitch, more and more anticipation builds, and you almost have to think that it favors Battle in this situation.
It does. And 1-2, if there's something close, fortune favors the bold. Why not swing at it, even if you do strike out? You've made a guy go about 10 pitches.
Gonzalez retreats the first, and he's safe. Pitch number 11.
Oh, man.
They're really getting into it now.
I love to see this stuff. The stalemate in baseball. The fact that you could go 13 pitches in one AB. Kevin, it's been almost 30 pitches just for the first two batters. White Sox side is going to have to start warming somebody up just in case, and they are doing that as somebody's doing some yoga stretches with band work.
1-2. Battle stays alive. How about this AB? This is one heck of a battle. 1-2, Gonzalez breaks, battle fights it off again. My goodness.
At this point, I want to see how long this can go. I think the umpire is out of baseballs.
He ran out.
Just got two more pearls, but who knows how many are left down there.
He's like, Avery, whatever you do not hit this one out of play. We need it back.
We'll see.
1-2, Gonzalez goes again. Ball two, throw down his second is high. Gonzalez is safe.
There's been so many foul balls. I forgot that he only had one ball in the count.
2-2 now.
Now a guy in scoring position. What was that? Pitch number 15 of the AB at this point?
Believe this is 16. Oh, what a take, and it's full.
Wow. What a take.
I think this is pitch 17.
I believe.
We've lost track at this point. Full count on the way. Ball four. Unreal.
That might have been the most exciting walk I've ever seen, Kevin.
He was down 1-2.
Exactly. And he worked it back 15 pitches later.
And that's likely going to be it for Pepequios. The ball's not been taken from him officially yet, but in this scenario, 2 men are on in the 6th inning and no one's out. Or it could just be another defensive coverage meeting, which we've seen. They use their mound meetings to discuss defensive coverages rather than try to support their pitchers.
And that is somewhat of a smart idea, but also in this situation, Pepequios is, 28 pitches deep, now going to the third guy of the inning, still nobody on, and now a runner in scoring position. What do you do in this situation? You just pitched the game earlier, unsure of what's really going to happen. You may be forced to switch the guy on the bump soon.
He remains in the ball game. A massive, massive opportunity here for Cincinnati Reds Nike RBI. The go-ahead run in the bottom of the 6th inning sits on second base in the form of Roybert Gonzalez. If he were to score, the Reds are 3 outs away from a Central Regional Championship, a title they did not have an opportunity to play for a year ago, despite being 3-1 and beating the team that had an identical record that got into the title game based off the weird tiebreaker formula.
And that's just somehow how it works. It's not always the fluidity that works. It's the weird stuff that goes in between the lines is a bit unheard of from people and really just becomes a head scratcher at that point.
The formula is different, and it resulted in us getting a playoff game between the Cubs and White Sox this morning. So all the teams who are here really earned it this weekend. 4-0 versus 2-1-1. Ooh, look out there. Gonzalez almost got drilled in the back of the noggin. Collier at the dish is 0 for 2 with a walk. Pulls back the bunt as the upstairs fastball almost hits him. He gets it down this time. Castro almost froze it away, but Cheney was there to cover. Sacrifice bunt. It's the first out of the inning, and now both runners advance 90 feet.
But we saw that in the first game, Kevin, that they had been working on that motion. That you're going to see Cheney immediately come and cover first as soon as Castro is basically 10 to 12 steps away from home plate. So this is something that they normally do.
So Manuel Sanchez comes up. Walked and scored in inning number 5. 2 men on. Swings, fouls off the first pitch.
And the infield is in, even with one away. Traditional double play is out of order at this point. You can go a weird way sometimes, maybe a liner and a tag, but the odds of that happening are slim to none.
0-1 misses down below. Gonzalez on third, Battle on second. That one gets away from Collazo. Here comes Gonzalez, he scores!
This is a 57-footer from Pipiquios. Even saw Sanchez jump basically his entire body in the air. Good awareness from Gonzalez to move up, and same thing with Battle. Kevin, they're 3 outs away and they win it.
Sanchez can provide a crucial insurance run, though, with one swing.
They need it.
Avery Battle is that runner. He's on third base. A ball in the outfield will likely score him in this situation. Sanchez fights it off, and the count evens out. Pipiquios kicks, fires. Sanchez pops it up. It's out of play.
Those two grinding ABs now. You look back at them, if all those pitches weren't thrown, this is in the upper 30s of the pitch count for the lefty.
Hit hard, backhanded by Weathers at third. He goes to first and gets the second out of the inning.
And a good play by Weathers. He's able to glove it. That was hit on a line, so it could have been difficult to get, but also Castro at first, grabbing it and immediately charging towards the runner at third. You got to keep him honest over there. You cannot allow that insurance run if you're the Sox Nike RBI.
The pitcher sitter takes strike one. Sitter singled his last time up, but was stranded at third. The one. Sitter to right center field. Base hit. Connor Sitter comes through. It is 5-3 Cincinnati.
Just off the nose of the bat and bloops into right center. You don't have to do too much sometimes, Kevin, even with him being such a massive power hitter. Just going back to the basics. And we've seen that it worked for so many teams before this. Finally seeing Cincinnati do it. They're one of the teams that have been somewhat neutral in their power to contact hitting. Just went pure contact.
So Chicago goes to the bullpen, and we will go to a break. 5-3 Reds here on the Windy City Sports Network. Bottom of the 6th. The catcher, Evan Gremmel, comes up against the new pitcher for this White Sox Nike RBI team. It is the right-hander in the form of Xavion Flowers. First pitch from him. Misses upstairs and in.
He's got a very stiff and straight motion the way he throws, Kevin. His arm is just about a click or two above his shoulder, but it's really going to allow him to get a lot of run going towards glove side with his heater.
A ball and no strikes. In there, 2-1. White Sox are not away from getting out of this one with the damage already done, and it's now 2-2. To 2. Gremmel late, and he laces that one foul. That one squirts out of the mitt of the catcher in Collazo, but no advancement from the courtesy runner. Full count, 2 gone. Payoff pitch. Williams runs. It's a call. Strike 3. So Gremmel goes down looking, but Cincinnati grabs the lead. They're 3 outs away from an RBI Central Regional Championship here on the Windy City Sports Network. Jonah Weathers leads things off for the Chicago White Sox Nike RBI program. And that one misses down low. Ball 1. Connor Sitter remains out on the mound. Popped him up. The catch is made by Lomax. 1 gone in the 7th.
It's going to be a last-ditch effort from White Sox Nike RBI if they want to try to at least send it to extras. If not, go back-to-back. They got a mountain to climb and only 2 outs to work with.
Angel Castro's walked twice today. Front door breaking ball just misses high. That looked good.
That looked really good. That was a pristine pitch.
1-0. There's the breaking ball, strike one. And Grammel pointed at what appeared to be Castro's arm there. Wondering why. 1-1. 1-2.
I don't know. I don't think it would have clipped him. Why would the opponent say anything? But
was he saying, though, that maybe he was trying to stick his elbow out to lean into it?
Or maybe that he didn't get out of the way if it would hit him.
1-2. Ground ball, weakly hit to Lomax at second base. 2 gone in the 7th. Joey Barbosa becomes Chicago's last hope in this regional. Cincinnati missed out on playing in this championship game a year ago, as the first pitch misses up and into Barbosa. 3 teams went 3-1. Them, Cleveland, and Indianapolis. But because of tiebreakers and how things worked out, as this pitch is popped up, Hill in foul ground. Underneath it, drops the ball. But because of how it formatted, the final game on Saturday night saw Indianapolis play Kansas City. An Indianapolis win meant Cleveland went to the title game. A Kansas City win meant Cincinnati was up to that title game. But earlier that Saturday, Cincinnati defeated Cleveland 3-0, but found themselves on the short end of the stick.
It's just such a weird spectrum to be on.
1-1 is smacked on the ground and through past Sanchez at third, and the tying run comes to the plate.
Just a good AB from Barbosa. Just able to send one under the glove of Sanchez at third. And that's the way you do it. You get a single. You know in these situations, Kevin, your heart is beating. You're, oh no, we're 1 out away, but you've got to try to be calm, cool, and collective and just keep smacking them out there.
Moises Vasquez takes a curveball for strike one. They're back now. They went 4-0. We're down early here, but have stormed back. The game has had 8 runs. 5 of the last 6 runs that have come across in this game have been scored by the team from the Queen City. That one misses high, 1-1. Good curveball from Sitter, couldn't find it though.
That was a good curveball. But because of how close the game is, it's about a lunchbox-sized strike zone at this point.
Just missed again, 2-1.
And in this situation, if I were Sitter, if you're not getting the calls you want on that curveball, just go your bread and butter. Start going that heater until you finally get them. He gets it.
2-2, he's a strike away. Sitter was a part of the team last year that just missed out. He has a chance to close out their trip to an RBI World Series. There it is! The team from the Queen City are the kings of the Central Regional Tournament. Cincinnati goes perfect in Chicago and are on their way to the RBI World Series. Five and 0 from Thursday through Sunday. And they do it in style. 5-3 in come from behind faction. And they get their revenge on the region.
Wow. What a game. At the beginning, Cincinnati None of their ABs were going their way. Pitching, it was dialed in from the beginning. Alex Smith looked electric. Had a little bit of a bump in that second inning, but Kevin, he really dialed it in and then gave it to Sitter and just absolutely tore the doors off the place. And then the offense starts to pick it up. And you're starting to see more and more, hey, the team that went 4-0, it's starting to make sense. Everything's clicking. They're not only going power and not only going contact, going a bit of both, but mainly inducing more contact in this game and going 5-0 and clearly showing why they are the best in the Central.
5-0, a run differential of plus 21 across this weekend. They didn't have to out-hit everyone. They didn't have to outpower anyone. They didn't have to be lights out pitching-wise. But they were the most consistent and complete team, and down the stretch, it showed.
In situations like that, Kevin, you're not going to want a guy who's great at one thing and okay at a bunch of other things. You'd rather a guy be in the middle on everything. So in every situation possible, he has an answer, or at least an answer on how to work out of it. In Cincinnati, those answers were met with only check marks and success.
So Cincinnati will receive their championship banner of the regional tournament. Roosevelt Barnes, the head coach and manager, jumping up and down with his players who are smiling from ear to ear after coming up short and not getting the opportunity to even play for a title. That has to feel a million times better for those who experienced the pain of last year.
And it would have been a week from today that they were found out the news that they would not be in that final or winning it. You know, and that just adds to it. So that the fact that they're able to win it here today, Kevin, that's just the icing on the cake.
So that's going to do it for us. We have one more championship game up next. It's the 15U title game between Indianapolis Nike RBI and Chicago White Sox Nike RBI. For our great crew, this wraps up our coverage of the 18U baseball tournament in this 2023 Central Regional. We thank you all so much for watching. Our congratulations goes out to the Cincinnati Reds Nike RBI program, champions of the MLB Nike RBI Central Regional Tournament in 2023.